Hello everyone, this is Suresh from Azure ADB. Today our topic is why we need to pass argument called format equal to none in a function. So it is like suppose I have one function here. So here I created one function here and my function name is this one data underscore fine. And so in this I defined three parameters. One is a df column and format equal to none. So this is the thing we are going to discuss in this particular video. So why we need to pass here format equal to none. So first what I'm doing, I'm importing the functions here. So from PySpark.sql.functions as if, and in this function, what is my intention is I want to convert the format here. Suppose I have one column. So that particular column, by using to underscore date function, I want to change the format. Suppose if it is in date, if I have date, and then how to convert in proper format. Or suppose I have timestamp, then how to convert from timestamp to date. So here I given if condition. So if format. So that means if format means if format is defined here, then that particular format passing here. So whatever custom format defined here, that I am passing here in if condition. Suppose if custom format is not defined, then it will come to else condition. If you see else condition, so here I given df dot with column. Here I used to underscore date function on this particular column, and here I'm not defined format. So since here I'm not defined mentioned format, that means what will happen from this def function, it will consider format as none. So that means format is not defined. It will consider as none. So then it will return this particular df here. So now we'll see one by one scenario here. So my first condition is when we need to use when format equal to none. So that means in this function, so when we need to mention format equal to none. So here format equal to none, this is optional. Okay, so whether we can define the format or we can keep as none. So if you're mentioning as none, that means format equal to none, then Spark will use it as a default format. Okay, so use this when your data is already in Spark's default expected format. Suppose if your column having values as date format, and that particular date is in your default format. So what is the default format for date? Year, month, date. Suppose this particular column, whatever you are passing column in this to underscore date function, if that particular column has in this default format, then Spark what it will do, it will automatically recognize the default format. Similar way, timestamp. So what is the timestamp default format? Year, month, date, hour, minute, second. So for these two cases, we can mention format equal to none. So that means Spark will automatically recognize if date is in this particular default format, and similar way timestamp in this default format. So that cases we no need to mention the custom format for date and timestamp. So we'll see now example. So I'm creating one data frame here. So I have data and I'm creating data frame with column. So here I defined values for one column. So that is my column name is my underscore date. So here what I'm trying to do is, so here I'm not defining any format. So no format is needed because already these values, no, these date values, already it is in default format. That is YYMMDD. If you see here YYMMDD. So since it is already in default format, then here we can mention as none. So then no need to mention custom format here. So here what I'm doing, this function, so whatever I defined function here, so this I'm calling here data underscore fun, and inside that I'm passing three parameters, df, column, format. So here what is a df? Df is this one, df underscore dt. And what is the column? So column is this one, my underscore date. And what is the format? None here, because my date format is the default format. So I'm passing here none. So then what will happen? So it will convert into your default format. If you see here, initially it is the data type as a string. Now it converted to date, data type. So similar way, same thing I mentioned here, it works fine without mentioning custom format because Spark knows how to parse this particular date without a custom format. That means it is in default format. So next we'll see for timestamp. So for timestamp, what is the default format? So year, month, date, and hour, minute, second. So here what I took data is, it is in default format. So that is year, month, date, hour, minute, second. So by using this data, I'm creating this data frame and I have single column that is my underscore timestamp. So these are all the values. And here what I'm doing for timestamp, these timestamp values are in default format. That is why year, month, date, hour, minute, second. So here I'm calling same function here. Initially I created one function, that function I'm calling here. So my data frame name is this one, df is df underscore ts, and my column is this one, my underscore timestamp, and format I'm passing as none. Because the timestamp, it is already in default format, so I'm passing as none. So if I run this, see here, I'm getting this result. So that means this timestamp, it is converted to date format. So here I will show you the difference. So here what I can do is I will display this also. So our initial data frame is with the timestamps, and after converting, it become date. So to underscore date function, what it does is it will convert timestamp to date format. And if you see our initial in this data frame, this particular column, data type is string, and after using this function, it will become date. So why you are getting error is I had to run this particular cell. So what we are getting is data underscore fund is not defined. Okay, so first I need to run this data frame also, data underscore fund. So that means this function I need to run here. Okay. So now if you see here, this is our initial data frame. So these are all the values, timestamp values. And if you see here, this is string. And similar way, so after converting, it become date values. And you see here data type as date. So same thing you can check here. So our initial column is my underscore timestamp, that is a string data type. And after converting, it become date. Okay, so next we'll see. As of now, we saw format as none. Next, we'll see when to use format. So this three dot means to define the format, custom format. So use this when your data is not in Spark's default format. So for this first I'm taking the date values. So here, if you see these values, what is our default format is year, month, and date. But if you see here, first date is there, month is there, year is there. So that means this is not a default format. So this is custom format. So for this custom format, what we have to do is, so I'll take one screenshot. So yeah, so here we are working. No? Yeah. Yeah. So now this is in custom format. So we need to define here this format. So that means this one we need to define here. So first what will happen here, first if condition is if format. So that means here we need to define the format and we have the format here. So first is date is there, next month is there, year is there. So same thing is defined here, date, month, year. So in this same function, data underscore fun, and here df is this one, df dt custom, that one. Next, what is column here? Column is this one, my underscore date. Next, format. So by default, it is mentioned format as none, but so whenever it comes to this condition, if format, so that means here format is there, custom format is defined. Then what will happen? It will go to this if condition. So to underscore date and this particular column, my underscore date, and we define the format. It will take this format and it will convert into proper date format. So if you see here, initially it was string, now it is date. And if you see these values after applying to underscore date, it converted to default format. So that is year, month, date. So next we'll come to timestamp example. If you see here, so this timestamp, so year, month, date. So normally how it should be year. So first year, then this space should be there, single space. But what we have, backslash is there. So all dates defined with backslash. So that means it is not in our default format. So what is our default format is this one. So year, first year, if you see other example, see here, this is the default format. So year, single line, month, single line, date. So but here it is in different format. So that means backslash is the custom format. So that means I need to define the format here. That custom format I need to define here. So how it is there, no? So similar way I need to define here. So triple Y for year, then backslash, then for month and date. See here month backslash date, then hour, minute, second. So now what will happen here is whenever you calling this function data underscore function, so here df is what is that? This one. df underscore ts underscore custom. Next column, what is column? My underscore timestamp. Next format, so that we are defining here this format. And what will happen? Since format is there, it will come to if condition. In if condition, what is there? This format we are defining here. It will consider this format and to underscore date. What will happen? It will convert timestamp to date format. And if you see here, initially it is a string, then later it is date. And if you see here, it converted to a default format. So earlier how it is backslash is there. Now it converted to single line. Okay, so what is the summary from this? So format equal to none, we have to use when data is already in standard Spark format. So standard Spark format means what is it? For date, this one, year, month, date. Next for timestamp, year, month, date, hour, minute, second. And when we need to define format is when data uses custom format. So examples like this. So when date is in like this, different ways. So first day is there, month is there, next year is there. But if you see here, month is there, backslash is there. And if you see timestamp also, year backslash. So these are all the custom formats. So next we'll see different cases. So first case is using format equal to none with correct default format. So that means format equal to none means we are passing none here. In this function, we are passing none format as none, but our input is in correct default format. So it is in default format. So when it is in default format, and since we are mentioning none, so it will give you the result. So here, initially it is string, then later date. So that means since it is already in a default format, no format is required. So no need to define this. So this is first scenario. So works fine because input matches Spark's default format. Next, the second scenario is using format equal to none with the wrong format. So here, if you see this date, it is not in default format. So it is in custom format. First date is there, month is there, year is there. But in this case, normally what we had to do is we had to define the format here. But what we are giving is none we are giving. So that means format we are not defining here. So in this particular case, what is the combination is format is none. We are defining format as none with wrong format. Wrong format means it is in custom format. So if you do this combination, what will happen? It will throw error. Like whatever your input is there, no, is the type string cannot be cached to date because it is malformed. So that means this custom format, it is not matching with this format. So what we'll get is we will get nulls. If you want to get nulls, no, what it's suggesting is use try underscore cached. So now it's throwing error, no? Since you mentioned none here, it's throwing error. Suppose you do, if you don't want to get error, then you use try underscore cast so that you won't get error. Instead of that, all these 5 values you will get output as nulls. Okay, so that is the meaning. See here, Spark expected year, month, date. But what we got here is date, month, year. So since, suppose this example, this date cannot be passed, it throws error. Okay, so same thing explained here. Next, this scenario is using format. So that means we are defining the format here, custom format. So in this function, we are defining the data frame df and column, and we are defining the format. So that means this one, this custom format, no? So instead of none, we are defining the format here. If you see here, we're defining the format. So if you define format, it will convert correctly. So what is the takeaway from this video is, if you use format equal to none with the data in default format. So if you're defining none, then either date or timestamp should be in default format. Then only it works. If you use format equal to none with data in non-standard format, that means custom format, then Spark converts it to null. Either it will throw error, or if you use a try underscore cast, it will convert to null values. So to avoid this, always provide the right format. So that means always provide the custom format when your input does not match the default format. Okay, so I think you understood when to use format equal to none and when to define custom format while passing this function. So that's all about this video. If you really like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.